Hi everyone, Dude here. So recently I did an order for more Final Fantasy stuff. I got the rest of the starter decks I was missing, and I picked up an Opus 11 pre-release kit. The pre-release kits for Final Fantasy actually look really good. They come with 9 packs, a promo, and sleeves in a really nice little box. It's a bit thin, so it's a bit hard to keep. That's why mine's a little bit damaged from post. But they are really nice. This one has a picture of what I believe to be Final Fantasy VII Remake Tifa. The promo is Cindy from Final Fantasy 15. I'm going to openly admit it, I'm a red-blooded male. I couldn't resist the pretty girls. We'll just make a comment about Final Fantasy 15 before we go forward. I said in what I believe was the last video I uploaded, I made that a few weeks ago, and this is made at the end of 2020, that I wasn't really enjoying 15 that much. After I got to about chapter 4, when you get the chocobo, I started really getting into it, and then I ended up loving it. Well, maybe loving it's a bit too much, but I found myself always wanting to play it until I finished it. I spent about 43 hours in it, got most of the trophies. I think the only trophy I didn't get that I wanted is the one for defeating Adamantoise. I'm like level 83. I want to just get up to 99, defeat Adamantoise, and I feel pretty much done with it. I don't care too much about the fishing and all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know. I'd put it in my top 5 Final Fantasies, but it's not as bad as people make it out to be. It's not a mediocre disappointment, as Super Eye Patch Wolf put it. I love Super Eye Patch Wolf's channel, but I don't think it's a mediocre disappointment. I think it's just a very... How about this? I probably won't think about it much years down the track. I probably won't want to play it again, in all honesty. But the amount of time I played it, I did really enjoy it. It's one of those disposable type experiences. Although I will say, I was kind of surprised when the penny dropped that it was a Christian allegory story. Didn't expect that. Full-blown Last Summer and Supper and King of Kings. Anyway, let's get this open. I would really like to not ruin the box because I think it is nice. I've got a few of these kits left over from earlier sets, and I think the current set's at 12. I might get some more next year, so 2021. I don't know how things are. It really depends on if we play more Final Fantasy. So this is how it is presented. She's actually already sleeved. I'm surprised about that. It looks like a sleeve from GameStop, so EB Games. When Cindy enters the field, search for up to 2 category 15 forwards and add them to your hand. She's a backup for 6 that is very expensive, so you probably only want to run 1 or 2 of her. You can tap her, choose a category 15 forward, it gains Brave. It's kind of turn. That's oh geez, my brain is trying to remember too many games at once. Sarah Angel's effect, the one where it doesn't tap when it attacks. Jeez, I really love the foiling in this game. I'll keep saying that every time I open packets, I'm sorry. And pay Earth and tap it because she's Earth. You can tell by the Earth symbol up there. Put Cindy into the break zone until end of turn. All category 15 forwards you control gain plus 3,000 power. My friend really likes Final Fantasy 15's characters, and he wants to build a 15 deck. He's the one you saw playing with the 15 deck when we uploaded a game. He might actually like Cindy in that deck, I don't know. But I don't think she's in the main set. Promos 068 of 1169, so she might be a hero in the set, I'm not sure. We'll find out if later on, I guess. I'll separate this video now and put a little image of the actual card if she's in the actual set. So we also get this packet of sleeves. They're Final Fantasy VII Remake Cloud on the bike. I think they look nice. I got a few of the other Final Fantasy sleeves. I bought them on clearance long ago. I thought they just looked nice and wanted them. Got Final Fantasy 8 and 10, I think, which are two of my favourites. Oh, I will say this. I haven't really commented on the card quality for Final Fantasy before. This has been in this box for a few days. It's probably been like 6 months since this set came out. Maybe 4-6 months, I don't know. Flight, given that they've been just rocking around in there, should have been, if it was going to go over, it would have been there. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4 packs there. And there's the rest of the 9. I think this was about $48 for 9 packs. I think that's a pretty good price. I think they came out to about $5 a piece. Like the artwork on the thing, it's just a nice picture of Tifa. So let's see what I get. So there's still foil every pack. Warrior, it's a 2-cost backup. I like those. Tap, put Warrior into the break zone. Oh, it's Final Fantasy 1 Warrior, but it's the Shiva art for it. Choose one for it. It gains plus 1,000 power until end of turn. Yeah, it's alright, I guess, if you really want to cycle out backups. Fire and 1, tap it, put it into the break zone, choose one forward, deal it 5,000 damage, which is enough to kill most 1-drops. Next up we get Fencer from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. So this is more the standard unit type stuff. Yep. So that's a 7,000 ice for 4 forward. So if we can get the focus, yep. When Fencer enters the battlefield, choose one forward your opponent controls. If the cost to play Fencer was paid with CP of 2 different elements, dull it and freeze it, which, not bad. Mina, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. It's a backup 3-cost win from Final Fantasy Legends. I'm not sure. We can actually check the bottom, see what game she's from. Legends 2, so they're doing the Game Boy games. But aren't the Legend games the Mana games? I'm not sure. I don't really care much for the old Game Boy games, but I played them when I was very young and didn't understand them very well. Because, honestly, I don't think I got very cluey on games. It was just, button, make character do something until I was like, in my teens. Wasn't really thinking about it too much. EX Burst, when Mina enters the battlefield, you may search for one job ninja forward or card name ninja forward and add it to your hand. I like her. I like her a lot already. I want a ninja deck, so that's cool. Ninjas and Dragoons are the only class decks I'd really... Well, oh, and Chocobo. I like that one too. Clavart from Crystal Chronicles. Haven't played that one either. Backup for 3, it's water. When it enters the field, turn over 1 card at a time from the top of your deck until a fire or ice card is revealed. So pushing 3-card deck, 3-color decks. That's very unusual for this game. Most people just stick to 2. Add it to your hand, then shuffle all the other cards and return them to the bottom of your deck. So shuffle the cards you revealed and then put those to the bottom of the deck. That's interesting mechanically. Kuchaspel. I'm not sure what that is. It's from Crystal Chronicles. Again, didn't play it. Back up for 2. Tap it. Damage dealt to forwards your opponent controls cannot be reduced this turn. That's actually interesting. I don't know how much damage reduction there is in this game, but it's interesting. Thief. So that's Final Fantasy Special. Oh, I'm not sure. Backup. When it enters the field, you may turn over 1 card at a time from the top of your deck. It's the same card, but from Wind for Earth and Lightning. Muti, which is Legends, and it's backup Eidolon. Oh, there was a monster looking at it. When Muti enters the field, search for 1 fire, summon and add to your hand. When you cast card name Bahamut, activate Muti. That's not too bad. The foil is Skeleton, and that's rare, so it's an uncommon. So that means she's an uncommon. Okay, we might actually see her then. It's a monster, 1 cost, with a lot of text. It's using the small text. Oh, get in focus here. There we go. When a lightning character other than Skeleton enters the field, you may place 1 monster counter on Skeleton. Put Skeleton into the break zone. Choose 1 forward with a cost of 2 or less and break it. Put Skeleton into the break zone. Choose a forward of of cost 4 or less break it. You can only use this ability if 3 or more monster counters are placed on skeleton. So if you summon 3 more creatures, you can start breaking 4 or less, otherwise it breaks 2 or less. Okay. Marsh that was our rare from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. If you control 2 or more Tactics Advance characters, the cost for playing Marsh on the battlefield is reduced from 5 to 3, so by 2. When Marsh into the battlefield, choose a category Tactics Advanced character with a cost of 3 or less in your break zone, play it onto the field. But that's pretty good. It's a very girly art for Marsh, but it's not actually a bad card. Fiona from Crystal Chronicles, she is a backup. I might have to move these a little bit further away so the focus doesn't get stuffy, but look, keeps getting stuffy to me. 2 cost, I like those. Win, 2, so it's 4. Tappers, so it's 5 total. Search for 1 character and add it to your hand, so any card at all, that's pretty good. Rydia from Final Fantasy IV. Hey, a game I like. I might actually buy more of this set then. Although the Earth one is Dark Cecil, I think. So, 3 costs, 7,000 forward. For the category forward, as 4 forwards, other than Rydia, you control game plus 1,000 and Brave. When Rydia enters the battlefield, if you control 4 or more category 4 characters, so it does include her, it's not exclusive of her. You may search for 1 summon with a cost of 1 and add it to your hand. So that's the same as a Garnet we've seen before, I believe. I think it might actually be just a... And Adramelech the Wrath from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I don't think I got that far into that game. EX Burst, it's a 1 cost. Activate 1, choose 1 active forward, deal at 6,000 damage. If your opponent has received 5 or more damage or more, deal at 9,000 damage instead. I thought that the damage effects by you. Oh well, Final Fantasy IV stuff. I thought the Ninja Girl was interesting. I think I got some cards I like in there. Now I think we do know that Cindy is going to be uncommon. I should have picked up on that actually. But I haven't been actually looking at this game much at the moment. I've been more doing Force of Will stuff. So, hey, 15 character already. But I haven't actually watched the Kingsglaive movie. Libertus, EX Burst, 7,000 for 5. When it enters the field, choose 1 category 15 character in your break zone, add it to your hand. If you control card named Nyx, which I think is another character from the Kingsglaive, choose up to 2 backups, activate them. That's okay. Beastmaster, Tactics Advance. I guess Tactics Advance is a big theme of the set. Backup for 3 when it enters the field. Choose 1 card. It's that card, but for lightning and water. Monk, 4 costs for 8,000 for 4 costs. When Monk enters the field, choose 1 forward. If the cost to play Monk was paid by a CP of 2 or more different elements, until end of turn it gains plus 4,000 and Brave. So it becomes a spell for 4,000 and Brave on a body if you play 2 different colours. That's alright. Gadgeteer. Backup for Lightning and Tapper. Choose remove Gadgeteer and 1 backup from the game. Choose 1 backup in your break zone. If its cost is equal to the cost of the 2 cards removed from the game, play it onto the field. You can only use this ability during your turn. Ooh, so you can go with a 2 and a 4 into a 6. Okay. So, right. Antlion. Tactics Advance. I thought it might be 9 because it's Antlion. The coloring's bit there. Actually, just hold on a sec. Have I never noticed that before? No, we haven't drawn a monster. I pulled another monster yet. But look at how oddly the things. It's like it's reversed. If that's the way it is for monsters, I haven't paid attention yet. 3 cost Earth monster with 7,000 power during your turn. Antlion also becomes a forward with 7,000 power. Earth, discard Antlion, so that's from your hand. Remove 1 backup from the game, choose 1 forward. You control dull it until end of turn. It gains plus 2,000 power, and this forward cannot be broken. can only use this ability if Antline is in your hand, which, yeah, you have to discard it. I have no idea what Pictologica 4 is. Is-yoi? Okay. 3 cost Water Ninja. Oh, more ninjas, I like that. 7,000 power. Might be able to find Pictologica Final Fantasy. And there's a little bit of ding in the corner. When she enters the field, choose one forward your opponent controls. If its cost is equal to or less than the number of job ninja or card name ninja you control, return it to its owner's hand. Which, given discard in Final Fantasy is the cost, that bounce might actually not be that bad, isn't it? Sorry, it's going to sit down. Water during this turn, the next damage dealt to her is reduced by 2,000 instead. Okay. Cool. Yeah, it might just be how monsters are done. I've got to check some of the older stuff to see if that's how they've always been done, or is this just a new thing. Monster during your turn also becomes a forward with 7,000 power. Discard and pay water. Remove one backup from the game, so a cycle of cards. Choose one dull forward, deal it 8,000 damage, and you can only use it if it's in your hand, so it becomes a spell. I actually think that's pretty cool. Marilyn from Final Fantasy 1, what rare is she? She's a common. Oh, looks really nice. I like that art style from the Final Fantasy 1 stuff. I'm a big fan of the first Final Fantasy. I think it's a really, really good game. I think it's somewhat underrated in modern day. So, she's a 5 cost 9,000 forward. I'm surprised she's not a monster. When Marilyn enters the field, you may pay, what is that? Fire 1. If you do, choose one forward your opponent controls, deal it 7,000 damage. When Marilyn was put from the field into the break zone, you may choose. You may search for one job named Chaos other than card name Marilyn and add to your. Oh, so they might have done a Garland in the Four Fiends deck. I think they called the Four Fiends in the first game. Anima from Final Fantasy 13. I don't remember Anima being in 13. It's a Falsi, 4 cost 8,000. When a forward opponent controls is put from the field into the break zone, choose one forward your opponent controls. Had to move for comfort reasons. So, when a forward opponent controls is put from the field into the break zone, choose one forward opponent controls and dull it. So, if you kill something, you can tap something else. And I think that's 0. That cost? Yeah. Choose one forward your opponent controls, deal with 2,000 damage. You can only use this ability once per turn, which, considering it costs nothing, yeah, I get that. Ifrit, that looks familiar for some reason. It's Final Fantasy X's Ifrit. 1 cost, fire, summon, EX burst, choose one forward, deal it 5,000 damage. If your opponent has received 5 or more damage, do it 8,000 damage instead. So if it's near the end of the game, does more. I actually kind of like a reverse limit break. I think that's neat. Aemo, Final Fantasy Legends again. Might have to play this game then. Back up to cost, you can pay water and 1 and tap her to put Aemo into the break zone. Choose one auto ability or action ability that has only one target. You may choose another target. The new target must be valid. Oh, it's a redirection ability. Costs 3 to do, but I don't think that's bad. I think it's pretty cool. And Kadaj, because of course there's Final Fantasy 7 stuff in here. Surprised this is the first one we've actually seen. So Kadaj is a 4 cost 6,000 forward EX burst. When it enters the field, you may search for one job remnant other than Kadaj and add it to your hand. When Kadaj or job name remnant enters the field, choose one character opponent controls for it, which means they can't stand up. Well, that's alright. I don't think that's a terrible card if you want to make tapdown.deck, because I think Ice got known for discard.deck, but if you want, I think tapdown.deck would be fine. So that packet was pretty okay. God, the packet's a bit firm. That thing's hot. So we got Biron. That's actually from Final Fantasy X originally. It's a forward for 3. If you control card name Yankee, it gains 1000 power and Brave. They're really putting Brave on a lot of the Earth cards. And Earth until end of turn, Biron gains Brave, and Biron cannot become dull by your opponent's summons or abilities, which is very anti-ice. Okay. Lilty, not familiar with that. Final Fantasy Tactics, Crystal Chronicles. 3 cost backup when Lilty enters the field. Turn over 1 card at a time. Okay, it's the Fire for Ice and Wind one of that card. Seen quite a few of those. Another ninja card. Okay, so it's ninjas are wind and water, and apparently this is the right set. So I wonder if I can get Edge. I wonder if he's in this set. Because I've seen Final Fantasy 4 stuff. This is Tsukinowa. He's looks like a guy to me. 7,000 for 3. When it enters the field, choose up to 1 of the same number of characters you control with card name Ninja. Choose up to 1 of the same number characters you control as... Okay, so for every ninja... God, you could have worded this very differently. For every ninja name and ninja job you have out, when he comes out, you activate a character card. And for wind, it gains... Cannot be blocked by a forward with a cost of 5 or more until end of turn, which is really nifty. I like that. Kraken from Final Fantasy 1. Yeah, I think there is a 5-color deck. I'm wondering if... probably 4-color deck. And I wonder if those look at the top card ones are support for that. We haven't seen a legend yet. Where it's a 9,000 for 5. When Kraken enters the field, you may pay water and 1. If you do so, choose 1 forward, return it to its owner's hand. Dropping this bit more forward. It's just hard because of the way I'm doing it. What if I do it like this? There we go. I think that's a bit better. If you do so, choose 1 forward, bounce it. When Kraken is put in the field from the field into the break zone, you may search for 1 job named Chaos other than Kraken and place into your hand. So it searches out the next one. Rig from Final Fantasy Legends. 4 cost 8,000 forward. EX Burst. When it enters the field, reveal the top card of your deck. If it is a forward, add it to your hand. So +1s, that's pretty okay. Getting a lot of those Final Fantasy Tactics ones. This one's a backup for 3. Journey. She's kind of cute. You may search for 1 category forward. Category Final Fantasy Legend forward and add it to your hand. Yeah. Places herself. Yazoo. So we're getting all of Final Fantasy 7 characters. The Advent Children ones. 2 cost for 5,000 for 2. Ice. When it enters the field, choose 1 character your opponent controls, dull it. And Kadaj freezes it. So put it into the field, dull it with him, freeze it with Kadaj. That's pretty okay. When it's put from the field into the break zone, choose 1 forward your opponent controls, dull it and freeze it. Pretty good. So we get Man in Black, which is a hero card from Final Fantasy 4. This is the sequel game, I think. Haven't played it all. It's not very good. 5 for 9,000 for 5. It's question mark is job. You cannot play Man in Black or card named Golbez while already in control of either character. So it's considered both Golbez and card name Man in Black. Okay. When Man in Black enters the field, choose 1 lightning summon of cost 3 or less in your break zone. You may cast it without paying its cost. If you do, remove that summon from the game instead of putting it into the break zone. That's alright. Now rare is Warrior of Light from Final Fantasy 1. 3 cost 7,000. When Warrior of Light enters the field, during this turn, the next damage dealt to you becomes 0 instead. Oh jeez, I keep getting messages. Only worth it if you can give it back attack. That's flush in this game. 0 cost. Choose one forward other than Warrior of Light. It gains plus 2,000 power until end of turn. During this turn, when that forward is put in from the field into the break zone, Warrior of Light deals you 1 point of damage. You can only use this ability once per turn. Okay, so you use its effect. Yeah, that's a really awkward card. Not a big fan of that. I don't really like it. Pandemonium, it's a 1 cost. I don't know what Mobius is. Does it say about him? Mobius Final Fantasy, I have no idea. EX Burst, 1 cost. Choose up to 1 backup you control, activate it, deal 2,000 damage to all the forwards your opponent controls. If your opponent has received 5 or more points of damage, activate it and deal 4,000 damage to all forwards your opponent controls instead, which is good for cleaning up a lot of 1-drops. Rude from Final Fantasy 7. So I wonder if they got any of the heroes in the set, because we've only seen the villains so far. Let's brought the light over a bit. If you control a card named Rufus, he gains plus 3,000 power, so becomes a 10-4-3. If you control Job, member of the Turks other than Rude, gains First Strike, which I think is pretty good. First Strike is very, very common in Lightning. I think it's what makes it fun. And our final one is Fanfred from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. I don't remember it being in an... Oh no, it's in 12, I think. Because it's an Ivalice game. 1 cost water summon, EX Burst, draw a card. Your opponent has received 5 or more points of damage, draw 2 cards instead. It's a nice cycle. It's okay if you just have 1 spare and just want to use it. So the Ninja Girl on that, sorry, Ninja Guy in that packet was good. I liked him. So looks like we're getting more Final Fantasy 1. Oh, that's a special. White Mage, which White Mage. We all don't know if it's a boy or a girl. It kind of goes either way. So what do we think that is? A boy or a girl? Answer in the comments below. Nevertheless, it's an 8,000 for 4 water, 4, and if you play different costs, you activate all forwards you control. So if you play, say, water and wind, you activate all your forwards. That's all right. Float Eye. I notice we haven't seen any doubles. I wonder if that's deliberate. A bit blurry. It was. Float Eye. I think that's usually Araman, isn't it? Tactics Advance. Monster. 3 cost 7 wind. During your turn, it becomes a forward with 7,000 power. It's the wind one of the discard cycle. Pay wind, discard it. Remove 1 backup from the game. Choose 1 forward with a cost of 5 or more. Break it. You can only use this effect if it's in your hand. Yeah, it's alright. Chronos from Final Fantasy Legends. Again, it's Legends 2. So I'm going to have to look up that game. Backup for 2 cost when into the field. Each player who doesn't control 2 or more forwards discards 1 card from their hand. That's very ice. Pay 2 ice and tap it, put Chronos into the break zone. Your opponent selects 1 active character they control and dulls it. That's alright. Ninja Girl again. Happy to see a second copy. Happy. I like that. Crow from Final Fantasy 15 again. This must be from the Kingsglaive movie. 3 cost lightning backup. When Crow is put from the field into the break zone, choose 1 forward in your break zone, add it to your hand. That's actually pretty cool if you can get rid of it, which apparently you can. Tap it, put Crow into the break zone, choose 1 forward and dull it, and then you can use... Final Fantasy doesn't actually have attacking rested forwards, so it just gets it out of the way, which is actually pretty good. Marilyn in standard. Yellow Jelly. 3 cost lightning monster. It becomes a 7,000 power, and it's the discard for lightning. Lightning and discard yellow jelly. Remove one backup from the game. Choose one active forward. Deal it 8,000 damage. You can only use this effective jellies in your hand. Pretty alright. Marsh, we've already seen, but we've got a foil one of it now. And it's full art. Not all the foils have been full art. I don't know if the full arts are worth any more or are special, but I'm going to assume they are. So I'm going to put that over there. Realm from Dissidia Final Fantasy / Final Fantasy 6. She's a 5-cost 4,000 Pictomancer. When she enters the field, you may search for up to one monster with a cost of 1 and put one monster the cost of 2 and put them onto the field. She grabs you 2 monsters. A 5 for only 4,000 backup. I think that's pretty good. At the end of each of your turns, choose one forward your opponent controls. If you control 5 or more monsters, return it to its owner's hand. That's pretty nifty. I actually like this monster.deck. I think it's actually a really nice depiction of Realm. That's not new artwork, but I really like it. It's not artwork you see normally. Exodus, Final Fantasy Tactics Advance. Oh no, that would be... what was the... That was the rare. Okay. So this is a 1-cost summon for Earth. EX Burst, choose one forward you control. At the end of turn, it gains plus 3,000 power, brave, and this forward cannot become dull by your opponent's summons or abilities. This forward cannot be returned to its owner's hand by opponent's summons or abilities. If your opponent has received 5 damage or more, all forwards you control gain all the previous effects instead. So it's a great way to just counter forward control. That's pretty good. I actually really like that. Morrow from Final Fantasy Legends. They're really pushing the Legends deck. And here's the damage abilities I was talking about. So it's a 2-cost 5,000 forward. Adventure and Training, damage 3, so if you have 3 or more damage, so limit breaks 3. Gains plus 2,000 and haste, so it becomes a 7 for 2 with haste, that's pretty good. Damage 6, so just before death. It gains a further plus 2,000 power, and when the forward damaged by Morrow is put from the field into the break zone on the same turn, so if he kills something, activate Morrow. Morrow can attack once more this turn. Oh wow, that's actually genuinely strong. At least I think so. I think that's a pretty good card. It's very aggressive. It's good mid-game, late-game, shit early game. But I really like it. I really like that card. And Seltzer. So we're getting more Final Fantasy 6 stuff. Looks like I picked the right set to go with that Final Fantasy 4 stuff. Sorry, the Opus 4 stuff. 4 cost 8,000. When Seltzer enters the field, each player randomly discards 1 card from their hand. Then any player who discards a Category 6 card draws 1 card. So it implies run a full 6 deck if you can get close to it. Slots special, so you want to discard another Seltzer. Tap it. Reveal the top card of your deck. If the revealed card's CP cost is an odd number, break all Dove forwards your opponent controls. If the cost is even, activate all characters other than Seltzer you control and draw 2 cards. I think that's pretty good. I like it. I like that a lot, actually. I like that one. So there's a lot of really cool inventive cards here that feel like the characters. I think the flavor is getting better in this game. So we start with another Remnant, Loz, from Final Fantasy 7 Advent Children. 7,000 for 2. Remnant forwards other than Loz you control gain 2,000 power. When Loz is put from the field into the break zone, your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. I'm pretty sure there's a really cool Ice Sephiroth in that starter deck set that I really liked. I'm kind of tempted to just make it now. Chocobo! I love Chocobo. I want to make Chocobo.deck. 3 cost forward, 5,000. When Chocobo is put onto the field, from the field into the break zone, you may search for 1 Chocobo or job or name and add it to your hand, so he refills your hand. I really like that. I like that a lot. Ninja Guy again. I like that. Yankee, which is the other half of Biron. 2 cost backup. Tap, put Yankee into the break zone. Choose 1 forward. Gains plus 1,000 power for each earth forward you control until end of turn. That's pretty neat. I like that. The Death Lord. Now that's edgy the hedgy. 5 cost 9,000. Forward, when the Death Lord enters the field, you may search for one dark character and add it to your hand, which seems thematic for the Death Lord. I kind of want the Death Lord in foil. It's such a cool name in the cringiest way. Final Fantasy 9's in this set. I didn't know. Might have to actually get a full box of this at this rate. Black Mage Soldier, red for 4, 7,000. Sorry, 5 for 4. When Black Mage Soldier enters the field, choose one forward your opponent controls. If the cost to play Black Mage Soldier is played by CP of 2 different elements, deal it 5,000 damage. Oh, that's not that great, but not that bad. Porum, so from Palom and Porum. She looks considerably different. She's a backup 2 cost. Water, when she enters the field, discard one card from your hand. If the card you discarded is not a Category 4 card, draw 1 card. If the card you discarded is a Category 4 card, draw 2 cards, then discard 1 card from your hand. That's pretty cool. Tap, put Porum into the break zone. Choose one forward during this turn. The next damage dealt to it is reduced by 2,000, which is really good for helping your blockers. I really like that. Lush from Final Fantasy 15. It's a common foil. Backup for 2. Lightning, 1. Tap, it's a 4 all up. Put it into the break zone. So, yeah. Choose one forward. Break it. Your opponent draws 1 card. I actually don't think that's bad. I don't think that's terribly bad at all. Let's see if I can get the light a bit better. That's a little bit better. So, another hero card. Alza, that's the one who owns the one with the where you get Realm back in the World of Ruin, I think. So 5 cost backup. When Alza enters the field, choose one forward, cost of 2 or less opponent controls. You gain control of it. I like that. I like that a lot. Hooded Man, Final Fantasy 4. So this one is Kane, so you cannot play Hooded Man or card named Kane while already control of either one. 7,000 for 4 EX Burst. When it enters the field, choose one Category 4 control other than card named Hooded Man in the break zone. Add it to your hand at the end of each of your turns. Activate all Category 4 control forwards you control. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty good. You can keep on blocking and attacking. I like that. Reno sticking his tongue out at us. Why you do that? That is very disrespectful. 3 cost lightning forward, 7,000 power. If you control Rufus, it becomes 10,000. If you control a member of the Turks other than Reno gains haste. So there's a budget Turks deck in here too. Or you can run the Turks and the Remnants. I'm not going to stop you. Theodore, that's Cecil and Rosa's son. Water, 4 cost, 8,000. Dull 1 active card named Cecil forward and 1 active card named Rosa forward. Place Theodore into the field. You can only use this ability during your turn and if Theodore is in the break zone. So parents revive their son. That's pretty flavoursome. And he is a prince. That is neat. Although I don't remember Cecil being a king. Does he become the king of Baron at the end of Final Fantasy IV? I've really got to replay that now. It's one of my favourite games. I haven't replayed it in years. It's on the list. And speaking of list, here's Final Fantasy I. I want to get around to that one again too. Lich. So this is a very budget deck. We've only seen commons and uncommons. Lich is a 9,000 forward for 5. Focus isn't the greatest. Let's get this a little closer to the light. I think that looks a little bit better. When Lich enters the field, you may... how many packs we got back? 3 left, I mean. When it enters the field, you may play Earth and 1. If you do so, choose one forward in your break zone, add it to your hand. When Lich is put into the from the field into the break zone, you get another job Chaos or card named Lich, and other than Lich, and add it to your hand. So it just keeps cycling. I think that's pretty cool. Sprite. During your turn, Sprite is also a forward with 7,000 power, costs 3, and it's the discard for water.
Remove one backup from the game. Choose one forward or monster, return it to its owner's hand. So it's a bounce spell. But yeah, also have to remove a backup from your field. Crow, we've already seen it. Parai, not familiar with that. Again, it's Legends. Forward, 9,000 power, 7 cost, that's very expensive. The cost required to play Parai onto the field is reduced by 1 for each point of damage you have received. So it's can get down to a 1 cost, because 7 is the final. EX Burst, when it enters the field, choose one forward your opponent controls. Deal 1,000 damage for each point of damage you have received. So it can do up to 6,000 damage to something too. That's actually pretty nifty. I like that. Black Waltz 3. 2 cost forward with 3,000 plus. It's very weak. When Black Waltz 3 is put onto the field, from the field into the break zone, select one of the following 3 actions. Your opponent discards 1 card from their hand. Choose 1 dull forward, deal at 7,000 power. Choose 1 ice summon from your break zone, add it to your hand. Good jump blocker comes back. Sulky from Crystal Chronicles. It's a backup when she enters the field. She's 3 cost. It's the one for fire or water, and she's lightning. Okay. The Emperor from Final Fantasy 15. So he's ice. 4 cost, backup, EX Burst. When it enters the field, choose 1 ice character in your break zone, add it to your hand. So it becomes a 2 cost more or less, but you need 2 to pay for it. Cloud. Oh, that's the starter deck card in foil. So that's actually the one from the dual deck. So you can get them in standard, full art from the deck, and foil. Well, you can watch my video on the dual decks to read that one. Justilian Empire Sid. So that's a Sid from Final Fantasy VI. 2 cost backup. Choose 1 monster you control and you have to tap it. Select 1 counter placed on it and place 1 additional counter of the same type as the selected counter on that monster. So there might be more than just that skeleton that work like that. Luca from Final Fantasy IV. The After Years. Earth Tapper. She's a backup for 2. Put her into the break zone. Choose 1 backup with a cost of 3 or less in your break zone. Play it onto the field. So in other words, she just pumps herself up when you need the other backup. So if you've got a backup with an enter ability and you want it later, she can bring it out. Dadaluma, I'm not familiar with that. Martial artist from Final Fantasy VI. I'm really not familiar, and I just played the game. So what am I remembering? 2 cost 8,000. When it enters the field, it deals you 1 point of damage. And damage 3, it becomes brave and cannot become dull by your opponent's summons or abilities. Oh, so they just can't deal with it. Pardon me. Without destruction, they can't deal with it. And the last card is Shiva from Final Fantasy Tactics Advance, looking very unsheevily. 1 cost summon, ice, choose 1 dull forward, deal at 6,000 damage. If your opponent has received 5 points of damage or more, deal at 9,000 damage instead. Which I think is pretty cool, considering Lightning's whole thing is doubling forwards. So yeah, I think this has been a pretty fun set so far. I like it. I heard that Final Fantasy Opus 4 is considered a bit of a dud set. So I liked it, so I'm curious how that works out. Thief from Final Fantasy 1. 4 cost 7,000, and it's the wind if you paid for it with 2 different elements. Draw 1 card. Loz, we've seen. Gecko, that's another ninja. Forward, 4 cost 8,000 power, fire. When it enters the field, choose 1 forward your opponent controls. Deal it 2,000 damage for each ninja or card name ninja you control. And fire, it gains brave until end of turn. I wonder if they've developed ways to help 3 colors even work. Because most people say 2 colors work. But I actually really like that. Gadgeteer we've seen. Rig we've seen. Puck from Final Fantasy 9. 4 cost backup when it enters the field. Choose 1 forward with a cost of 1 in your break zone, play it onto the field, damage 3. Once the field, choose a 4 with a cost of 2 in the break zone, play it onto the field. So you get a 1 and a 2 drop if you play it with 3 or more damage. That's pretty cool. Journey, we've seen. Morrow, we've seen, and I'm happy to have it in foil. I think it's a cool card. Barret, that's a new Barret, I think. Final Fantasy VII Remake. 4 cost, 8,000 power. Earth, tap, deal 4,000 damage to all forwards your opponent controls. That's going to stop a lot of things from attacking because they're just going to die. I don't know what happened there. It just cut out. Anyway, Tifa. If you control card name Cloud, the cost for playing Tifa onto the field is reduced by 1. I'll get out of the way, but I'm trying to get the light better. Don't know why it's so dark. It's on max. Don't know what's up with that. Card is reduced by 1 and can be paid for by any element, which becomes a forward cost you can play anything for. And all forwards other than Tifa you control gain plus 2,000 power and brave. And she has damage 3. Tifa gains category 7 forwards you control cannot be broken by opposing summons or abilities that don't deal damage. So cards that just say break. Yeah, that's a great pull. I'm really happy with that. She was one I actually wanted because I like the Final Fantasy VII decks. Not huge on the game, but I like the decks. Chelinka from Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. She's a backup for 3. Wind. When she enters the field... Is that clear to you? Choose 1 forward. Until end of turn, it gains brave, and this forward can attack twice in the same turn. That's actually really good for the ninja type things if you want to stay in theme. And win, tap her, return it to your hand, which is pretty cool. So you can just keep using her. I like her a lot. Trino, 5 cost Earth Apprentice from Final Fantasy Pictologica, whatever FFRK is. EX Burst, when Tyro enters the field, you may search for 1 forward and add it to your hand. Wow, that's a pretty big search. If Tyro is on the field, Tyro can reduce CP of any element. Oh, that helps all those cards that want to get a specific element. And it actually helps 3 color decks. Damage 5, tap, choose 1 forward against plus 2,000 power until end of turn. It's alright. Glolka from Final Fantasy 15, Captain. 5,000 power for 2. The cost required to play your lightning forwards onto the field is reduced by 1. It cannot become 0, so it's to a minimum of 1. When Gluka or a forward enters your field, so it's a forward you control, choose 1 forward against plus 1,000 power on the field. That's iffy, but the cost reducing one is pretty cool. I'm just really happy with the full art and Tifa. The full arts being actually scarce in this game is a good thing. I think full arts should be scarce because they should be what the value of the game is built around, not actually playing the game. So we start with Thief. We've already seen it. Red Mage, special. That's actually a really cool picture from Red Mage. But why does Red Mage look like a pirate? 4 cost 7,000 when it enters the field. Cost to play, Red Mage is paid with 2 different elements. It gains plus 2,000 power and haste. It's actually pretty decent. Loz, seen it. Zangetsu, so this is a lightning ninja. So they must be going for a 5 color, I'm sorry, there's 6 colors in Final Fantasy. Lightning deck, and ninja deck. When it enters the field, choose up to the same number of characters opponent controls in the manner of job name ninja or card name ninja you control, dull them. Lightning Zangetsu gains haste until end of turn, so it becomes a 5-drop with haste that dulls all your opponent's guys. Red Cap is a monster, so it's a type of goblin. 3 costs 7,000 power. During your turn, it becomes a 4 with 7,000 power. Fire, discard it, remove 1 backup from the game. Choose 1 for it, deal it 7,000 damage. That can only be played from hand. So I think we might have seen the entire cycle. Porum, we've seen it. Monk, that's pretty cool art. I think these are some of the new arts they've been making too. See, it's just got the artist, it doesn't credit the game. So everyone complaining about Final Fantasy doesn't use new art, it's all stock art. Well, not exactly true now. I heard they'd been investing in new art, but didn't know it was so common. I thought it was just for special cards. To back up for 2, Earth, tap it, put Monk on, from the field into the break zone. Choose 1 forward, deal it 3,000 damage for each card name Monk or job name Monk you control. They're really pushing the solo job class decks. And we end the foils on a common, but we already have seen. Talika, which is Crystal Chronicles, back up for 3. Tap it, the cost required to play your characters onto the field this turn is reduced by 1. You can only use this ability once per turn. That's actually not that bad for just a generic Earth backup. I think that's pretty cool. Zack from Final Fantasy 7. 1 cost 8,000. At the end of each of your turns, choose 1 for your opponent controls. Discard 1 card from your hand. If you do so, it's not, you can. It actually instructs you to discard, so you have to discard and deal the 5,000 damage. Yeah, I guess that's why it's 1 for 8,000. Sahagin Chief from Final Fantasy X. 2 cost. That's a lot of microtext. When a water character other than Sahagin Chief enters the field, place 1 monster counter onto this. So this is what that Sid card support for. Put it into the break zone. Choose 1 forward you control. Return it to its owner's hand. That's iffy. Put it into the break zone. Choose up to 2 forwards. Return them to their owner's hands. Use this ability only if you have 3 or more monster counters placed on Sahagin Chief. So you really want Sid to ramp that up. And our final card is Dandreen from Final Fantasy IX. This is the book monster. And this one, it gives off something, a special item if I remember correctly, or you get an item very early from it. Something like that. 1 cost ice monster, and when you play another ice character, it gets its monster token. Put into the break zone, choose 1 forward, dull it. Put Dandreen into the break zone, choose 2 forwards, dull them and freeze them only if you have 3 or more monster counters. That's actually pretty cool. So we got 2 really cool cards here. I'll look up the value of them both. I've got to sleeve them. So we've got a full art Marsh and Tifa. I think they were pretty good pulls. I'm pretty sure Tifa is over the $10 mark anyway. So I'm happy with that. If that's what a pre-release set for Final Fantasy looks like, I think it's a pretty good buy. The packs don't feel as seeded as other games, at least to me. Maybe a full art and a legend is seeding, but Final Fantasy is usually a bit more generous with the legends. But hey, full art promo as well. I'll have to look that up as well. That's nice. And the packet of sleeves, which is also very nice. So I don't know if I'll get more of the pre-release kits. I could get them for other sets, or I could just get a box of this set because I quite like this set. I think this is a fun set. So tell me down below. I'll probably make a decision shortly after I read the comments, because I think this is the first video I'm putting up that's not the rule of stuff of Forceville of 2021. This has been Some Gamer Dude, and thanks for watching.